Nerdcast assemble!
Stay dandy, baby. Shit literally starts to get real in a double dose of awesome episodes of Gundam Build Divers Re. Hello, my friends, and happy holidays. The Christmas season is officially over, which is why I'm going to be reviewing 2 episodes of Gundam Build Divers Re. Today, I've been very busy over the course of the last week, going to holiday parties, spending time with the family and the girlfriend, and I had a really great holiday. I got a lot of really cool things, some brand new t-shirts, as you can plainly see. I got some cool new stuff that I'm going to be putting on the shelves, and even at the actual studio where I record some of my other videos, and it's got me really pumped up for everything that's going to be coming in the new year. But what's really interesting here, and do not quote me on any of this, apparently this is actually the end of the first season of Gundam Build Divers Re. Apparently this is going to be a 2-core series where we're going to have 13 and 13. They've already announced that there's going to be a second season, which is actually going to be coming in April, and honestly, I can believe it with the way that these 2 episodes actually go. In fact, it's really going against the grain of what we typically see from either a Gundam anime or even one of the Build Fighter spin-offs. I mean, this was really intense, and it also gives us a really nice sci-fi twist, which again manages to make the series feel all the more distinctive. Before, I thought it was just going to be a case of an isekai, where we have characters who are trapped in some sort of game world, and there's going to be some sort of crazy event which causes them to be stuck there, and of course having the classic rule of if you die in the game, you die in real life. It's a little bit of that, but it's also something else entirely different. Picking up with episode 12, we get to see that the Build Divers team is battling against the Seltsam and this massive army of one-eyed mobile suits, which is preparing to destroy the planet of Eldora, in particular the city of Saguri. They're going to just blow it away with a massive Death Star-styled weapon, and it turns into this giant desperate battle of watching Hiroto and his team have to fight back against this incredibly powerful force so that they can save the day. And I was fully convinced that everything was going to work out and that they were just going to win and everything was going to be hunky-dory. The furry animal people were going to live on in perpetual bliss. That is until they actually ended up losing. That is definitely the most surprising thing about episode 12, where everything just goes to shit. Everyone loses, everyone dies, except for, like, the main characters, and they have to live with the fact that they're actually in this real, living, existing world, and they let all of these people down. They weren't able to stop the bad guy, they weren't able to save everyone, and half of this, like, race got annihilated by a massive beam like something out of a Saturday morning cartoon. And they had to come to grips with the fact that they're living in a real world. They don't know how it's even possible, but it is. That's the biggest shock about episode 12. I mean, don't get me wrong, we get some fantastic moments from all of the characters who get to do a lot of really cool things. I mean, getting to see Hiroto and the Jupitive Gundam in action for the first time is great. It's real simple, and basically it's just a Gundam which is made for space battle, but it has a lot of really cool attachments and beam sabers, and watching him battle with the Seltsam in what is arguably the best battle of the series is really damn satisfying. Mei is also really great seeing her in action, finally being able to bring out her mobile doll mobile suit again. Frickin' Parvis himself, his Morgiana has this weapon which is like, I think it's called the Avalanche Rex Buster. It's a ridiculous anime-styled name, but basically he's able to take the dragon portions of his Gundam and transform it into like a massive weapon. That was really cool. Even Kazumi got to do some pretty cool stuff here, not only managing to take out some enemies, but also inadvertently helping out Hiroto a number of times in his battle against the Seltsam. It was a really solid moment for the characters, but it was punctuated by the fact that they all lost. They lose. They're not going to win this time. And like I said, they get to learn that apparently that this is a real world. Now, initially, I thought that this was just like an EL Diver situation, an L Diver thing, where basically all of these people were born within the GBN. That's not actually what's going on at all. In fact, it leads to one of the biggest shocking surprises of the entire episode, where when they lose this battle, not only does it have an effect on the people who live on this world, but also in the real world as well, as there are these massive communication problems with the internet, and all of these servers end up going down, not just the GBN, but even standard stuff like your cell phones and computers all over the world. This event has actually sent a ripple through the actual universe of this series, which is incredibly surprising. And we get to learn that apparently this all originated on a planet which is like 30 light years away. And this planet is none other than Eldora. Apparently, Hiroto and his team are not just playing a story mission in GBN, but they're quite literally being transported to an alien world and being thrust into a massive battle. Yes, this episode basically confirms that aliens are real in this world, and they happen to be cute, furry animal people. It's a really shocking moment, and it adds even more to this season, and it just continues to blow away the last one in every single way. I mean, the concept of an L diver in the last season was kind of interesting, but they didn't really do that much with it until the very end. Here, they've been slowly building up that there's something else going on here, which is still a complete mystery. And a lot of that starts to get shed a little bit more in the next episode, episode 13, where we finally get to see the repercussions of this massive event, how the world has been thrust into chaos because people can't check on their freaking Twitter updates and shit on their phones. It's kind of funny, and it makes you realize that people are wholly dependent on their phones and on the internet for all types of stuff, but people still manage to, pull together and live their lives as usual. And what's really interesting is that the team actually manages to see each other in real life. Aside from Hiroto, we really haven't seen any of the other members of the team in real life, and we finally get to see them sort of gather here, and hilariously enough, brought together by Nanami from the last season, who is now some sort of like secret agent for like the secret Gundam base, which is strange. She doesn't say a word, which is kind of weird, but it doesn't matter. She's not important. We get to see these characters come together, and they've all been sort of brought together by May. And seeing her in real life in her doll form and wearing like a super cute dress is hilarious. But it was really great to finally see Parvis and Kazumi in real life. Of course, Kazumi, the biggest shock, of course, is that he's not an adult. He's actually just a kid. He's a lot younger looking, and personally, I like his design just a little bit more. I don't know why, and this is going to sound really strange, but he reminds me of like a character that you would play as in like Persona or something. I don't know. He reminds me, I don't know why, of Ryuji from Persona 5. Don't ask. Maybe it's just a weird, ridiculous hair color and his overall goofy personality of being basically the sidekick character, but that's what he is. And seeing his reaction to Mei is also really funny. But then, of course, there's Parvis, and they pretty much go ahead and just confirm that he is the brother of Shariar. They happen to have the same last name, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But what's really interesting about his character is that in the real world, he's actually wheelchair-bound. He's crippled. And my first thought is, this is probably why he is scared of heights. My guess is that at some point in the past, he was actually involved in a plane crash, and that could be potentially what actually caused him to be damaged or hurt his body. But it still doesn't manage to stop him. He still has a surprising amount of peppiness for being a character going through what he's going through, and he seems more confident maybe in real life than he does in the actual game. Maybe you could chalk that up to the fact that he's been working with the Build Divers team, but this was a really big moment, and this is of course where it gets the big confirmation that yes, this isn't a real world, and everything that they've been involved in thus far has actually been real. If they get hurt there, they can get hurt in real life. They could potentially lose their lives. It explains the scene where Hiroto ended up damaging his forehead and there was blood coming out of it. Like, these characters have been risking their lives this entire time and fighting alongside an alien race. That is why they are so lifelike in the first place. It's a big, shocking moment, and unlike anything that I've seen in any other Gundam anime before, and that alone makes it kind of interesting, and has made me really appreciate like how this season has been developing and where it's going to be going, because this is some pretty different stuff for the series. I mean, there's only been so many instances in the Gundam anime where they've actually involved extraterrestrials or the existence of some sort of life other than humans in the world, and a lot of the times it tends to be the really outlandish Gundams. We're talking like G Gundam here, we're talking Gundam 00, and of course now with the Gundam Build series, the concept of people living in different realities or dimensions or even being alien species is not really out of that realm of the possibility, but the fact that they sort of subverted our expectations by playing with the fact that these NPC characters are just something that exists there, it kind of makes sense. And it's weird. Like, there's still so many other questions, and there's a whole nother subplot that they decided to add to this episode, which involves the character of Masaki Shido. He is the mysterious guy who is piloting the Celsam, and in another interesting twist, he again is actually a person from the real world who was battling in the GBN. When he was actually connected to it, he went into a coma. And what's even more strange is that when this happened, his consciousness is actually now sort of like stuck within the GBN, and they have no way of actually getting it back. And even weirder is that apparently he had some sort of connection to the alien beings on the planet of Eldora, actually even teaming up with them, including that one character known as Maran. So this is really strange. Like, I'm not quite sure what is happening with him, why he's stuck in this world, why his consciousness has gone insane, how it has some sort of connection to Alice, the living AI, who could very well be some sort of weird, crazy, destructive alien being trying to destroy the planet of Eldora. Basically, this show just went about, like, creating toys to battle with each other and turned into this massive, ridiculous space opera of craziness. And it's weird and it's insane, but honestly, I love it. And it has just grabbed me. I care so much more about everything that's going on in this season than when compared to the last. And I think that's really what's made me fall in love with this season right here. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's actually going to end with episodes 12 and 13, or if they really are going to do a few more, but they did confirm a new season in April, so I'm guessing we might end here. And the good news is, while everything was really dark and grim with them losing and seeing the entire Seguri destroyed, which was a surprisingly dark scene, by the way. I mean, they show, like, the men, the women, the children, they all die in a massive blast and explosion. They don't sugarcoat anything. Shit got real in Gundam Build Divers Re, and I was taken aback by the way that it actually decided to make those bold decisions. I really have to commend the series for actually doing something like that and for doing something different. But the good thing is the characters pull themselves up by their bootstraps and they decide that they're going to get back together. They've assessed the fact that this is a dangerous situation. They could lose their lives, but they now have an obligation to do something important, to take down these evil enemies, to save these people, and of course, you know, help everybody else on Earth. It's all just worked out really well. So, what's the rundown on both of these episodes of Gundam Build Divers Re? Boy, was this crazy. I was not prepared for how insane this is going to be, and I think that's what made me love it so much. I just expected a big battle with the heroes winning in the blaze of glory and then moving on to the next arc of the series. No, nothing is even over yet. I mean, this was like the first major part of the show, but there's just so much more for the future of where it could be potentially be heading, and they're just planting seeds all over the place for, like, how things are actually going to play out. Like, I loved the fact that we got to see the return of Maggie, one of the few enduring characters from the last season. It looks like he's actually going to possibly be forming a brand new coalition to help out May in her efforts to try and take down this evil, ridiculous force, to save Masaki Shido and take down Alice. It's just crazy. I also love that we had a little character arc with Hiroto where throughout the course of the episode he's reminded of his old friend who may or may not be an L-diver, may have actually been a real person who died in the game. That part is still just a complete mystery, and I'm guessing maybe they don't even know yet. Maybe they're trying to develop that for the next part of the season. But what's cool is that after all of this dark stuff, he decides that he is going to make a brand new Gunpla, a brand new form of the core Gundam, which has a brand new slick design, not so reminiscent of the classic one, more so in the actual color schemes. But again, I think they're going to be saving a lot of those and surprises for the next season, and of course when they make the brand new model kits, which eventually are going to be hitting stores. But it's really great to see that this team is returning now that they're an actual team. They've seen each other in the real world. There's a stronger bond and connection between these characters, and going forward, I can't wait to see how the story is going to develop even further. Aside from that, there's a lot of little things about this episode I loved. One, May is a mobile doll. Freaking adorable. Seeing her in her little dress, seeing her get really miffed when she was trying to hail a taxi despite the fact that she's like basically the height of a 6-inch tall action figure, that was really funny and just adorable and played for laughs. And we needed a moment like that after all of this, I can't believe I'm saying it, death and destruction. Yeah, I don't think these characters are coming back. There might be some sort of contrived way of actually bringing them in. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I might even be wrong about the whole alien aspect. They might not actually be aliens on another planet. They could still exist within the GBN in some sort of sense, but that's what I took away from these episodes. And man, it has just left me floored with the possibility for the future. I mean, what a turnaround from the last season. I mean, in every single way, from a storytelling standpoint, from characterization. Thank you for finally giving me some characters that I should actually care about, and there are stakes now. These characters can die, they can lose in battle, they cannot return. That alone just adds so much more attention to a series that was desperately clawing for it. It's just so good to finally see Gundam Build sort of return to the lofty heights of the beginnings of its spinoff. I still think the first season of Gundam Build Fighters is the absolute best. Then again, it was much simpler in what it was trying to do, but it also had this sci-fi element that allowed it to stand apart from the other Gundams. That was something that was sorely missing from Gundam Build Fighters Tri and from Gundam Build Divers. Both the first season and this one right here are finally bringing those elements back into play, and it's making it interesting. Taking the simple concept of just taking toys and battling with them and actually making you give a shit. That is awesome. I loved both of these episodes. There were some small imperfections here, but there were so many great moments. I think just seeing the team in real life, I think, is definitely one of the biggest highlights. There were just a lot of big smiles on my face and a lot of shock from all the things that were happening, especially in episode 12. Really, I can't wait to see what's next. I cannot wait for that second season. I loved this one right here, which is why I'm going to give both episodes a 5 out of 5. That's right, you got my thoughts on the episode. I want to hear yours. Tell me what you thought about them in the comment section below, and what you hope to see from the future of Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. What did you think of the ends of these episodes right here? Were you shocked by any big developments? What do you hope to see from the next season of the show? What was your favorite mobile suit battle? What's the deal with Masaki Shido? What's going on with Alice? Is this really an alien planet? Let's talk about all this stuff. Come on, guys, let's do it. Thank you all for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews like this. And of course, if you liked the video, maybe you could give it a thumbs up, help support the channel a little bit, tell your friends about it. And if you really want to go the extra mile, check out my Patreon and my PayPal account. Not only would you be doing a great service by helping to support this channel, but you could also have the potential to actually get a special review done for yourself. That's right, I am taking review requests through my Patreon. I'm getting ready to work on my next one right now. It's a series that I'm currently watching. A lot of you will probably know what it is. It's a very popular series from a few years ago. All I'll say is that it involves the Mafia, and one of these members of the Mafia is really small. That's all I'm going to say about it. Otherwise, yeah, there it is. I'm just rambling at this point. Guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.